Alright, so Susan here is TREVO's very own general manager. She'll be sharing about TREVO, its successes over the last years, the future plans, and also expansion abroad, which is launching in Indonesia. And also, we have here our super host, Mr. Aslam, to join us today. Mr. Aslam garnered over 100,000 in 3 months with us here on TREVO. He'll be sharing with us his journey, how he got to know us, and how he was convinced to list his cars, and how he earned that huge sum. So, also, we'll be answering questions garnered through the campaign done, whereby many of you have asked tons of questions, and thank you for that. We'll be answering them along the way, so keep on watching, and we'll be answering them at the end.
TREVO is a P2P car sharing marketplace. I'll just do a very brief introductions to tell you what is TREVO in this case. We are like Airbnb, but for cars instead. So what happens is TREVO is a marketplace where our guests can actually share the car that fits the need and also wants for the trips that they are taking from the nearest host in the TREVO community. So we have a community of over 1,000 people now, and also with more than slightly below 5,000 cars at this juncture that we speak on the TREVO platform. On this note as well, TREVO aims to provide more mobility choices that fulfill the travel needs of the users. In this case, we address them as guests, and also providing car owners, in this case, we address them and hosts, the opportunity to earn extra income. We all understand that the current economic environment is quite difficult now. Some people even face losing the job. Some people even face having their pay cut. So on this aspect, TREVO can come in handy to help you, especially people with cars, to offset the cost of having their cars shared on the platform, and hence improving perhaps your lifestyle, and also elevate your financial burden in this case. And also want to tell you a bit about what is TREVO positioning in this case. Again, as I mentioned before, we are a car sharing community rather than a car rental, simply because we don't own a car. Those cars are all provided by the individual host. That distinguishes from other that we are trying to strengthen TREVO's idea of car sharing among the community, rather than operating them like a car rental business. So that's what being said, that will create the bonding and proactive interactions between the host and the guests. And also, in addition to that, we are looking to providing 3 distinctive solutions other than just the car platform, simply because we want to make sure that, when hosts provide a car onto our platform, they have, they have this sense of security and protected in this case. So there are 3 key things we're providing onto our platform, namely the TREVO Shield, which is a safeguarding, is central to the service offered by TREVO. And TREVO is also offering one of the best protections available on the peer-to-peer car sharing market in Malaysia, with up to about 3 million in liability protections for your vehicles. Having said that, we're still constantly and continuously improving ourselves in terms of TREVO Shield to ensure that the protections are 360-degree in place to secure all our car hosts. And the second one I want to bring on here is the TREVO Deliverers. So we do have a in-house, what we call a custodian team, where they are trained, and they will deliver the cars from you, being a host, if you're a host, to the guests who are actually making the booking request from us. And this service is actually currently free for charge, to help our community familiarize themselves with our platform. And this is also helping you with value add, that if you're being a host where you don't have time to deliver the car to your guests, or to meet up with the guests to go through all the standard SOP, to have this key exchange, our in-house custodian will be able to help you in this case. And the third things I want to talk about is the TREVO Track. This is somewhere we are putting in value add to allow the host cars to be tracked. So unlike sharing houses, cars move, and we want to know where they are and how our guests need our help in this case. So we have this TREVO Track in place for hosts to opt in for high accuracy location tracking. All right. So in addition to that, we also provide, I keep saying, the 360 care to our users, to our hosts and guests at different phases of the entire car journey experience. So covering before the trip, during your trip, and after the trip. So we offer a sophisticated know your customer process and experienced customer service for inquiries, and our scale operations team for all the emergency accounts listing on the travel platform. All right, I think that's all from me, just to give you a quick heads up on what is travel.
All right. Thank you, Susan. That's really interesting how we've garnered so many users over just a year plus, and also how we've gone to Indonesia and other states as well, not just East Malaysia, West Malaysia as well, Kota Kinabalu. That's really something proud of to be. All right. So thank you so much, Susan. Next, let's head over to Mr. Aslam. Mr. Aslam, as we know, you are a super host in the first 3 months itself with the impressive profit you've made. Could you share with us how you've joined travel? How was your journey like? And being a super host? And how you convinced to list many cars on our platform? You can. Thank you.
Okay, well, okay. Actually, the journey is for the last 4 months is okay. How I start actually, I think after the MCO on July, one of my brother-in-law introduced me. Hey, come, let's. There is a one platform called Travel. So at that time, actually, honestly tell you, at that time I was not really aware what is this the car sharing platform and etc. So anyway, I'm a travel agent background, so we had some uh, the, the 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 resources. But when the time my brother introduced me, I said I dragged for a few times, because there's a situation I still not confident. But then he forced me to bring to your office, and we sit down with wonderful team, and they share with us what is this and what is this Kasha platform and how it's work. So really impressed, and uh, still not confident. So I just start with one car. So then very next day I received my first booking. So that's make me to give me hopes, right? Really, and because all the way since all the industry right now, even especially travel industry is since the last year, we are affected from this current pandemic, and we don't have any other solutions we had, and we just move around. And then I noticed that first day, second day, I continuously receiving the booking, then that's make me hopes. So we start to add my vehicles one by one, and then start the magic. So that's how we start, like during July, August, and um what do we call within, we start with one car, then we add a second car, third, and continuously uh, we add on my all the I mean whatever the fleets at that time available, and the results was really good, right? And it's continuously keep on booking start, and that make us to move to the next step. Yeah. So that's how our journey start. And I want to share, honestly, there is a wonderful team when we meet, because to encourage, especially the travel team, they behind with us, whatever the things to be update and give some, techniques and how to customize it, as well a backup support from customer care and also custodian. So that make us more comfortable zone that we feel that we are not alone. So we have a backup in the terms like, especially the like when the travel make us less responsibility. In the terms of responsibility, mean less burdens, because they take care of the delivery staff, as Ms. Susan shared, that's a very very interesting part for us to minimize our the manpower and the resources. So all the way now since July, and we fully move with travel, I believe, like August. So until now, we already have the results, and we are fully satisfied, and also we able to give many opportunity to
All
others.
right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Aslam. That's really interesting how you shared your journey on travel and how you've garnered in just few months. You've garnered like quite a big sum. That's pretty interesting. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there were really keen to hear about this. So, how did you manage to get the 100,000 in 3 months? That's pretty.
Okay, that's good question. And actually, number one, because we should have, because there are many type of business platforms around, especially what we call like now its world is moving to online platforms. Even like the TREVO is part of the online car sharing, right? So the most important thing is what we believe as a host, who is, I mean, we also need, I mean, in the terms of our side, we thinking to protect us. So what I feel, once we work with travel, the way they take care of the customer, and also they take care of the host. So that's kind of an interesting part for us to move comfortable zone, because like I can say some example, like, you know, like, so some other platform we work like there is no limitation of per day usage. So actually that in the terms of host, we little bit disappointed, because I mean it's unlimited. Many platform they use, if we rental to the platform, there is no limitations. But Travo is they limited 200 kilometers per day, so that protect us as well. In the terms we work with Travo, whatever the things they responsible and where we can report, so that make us the comfortable zone to work with them. So since we are in, since the travel make us in that comfortable zone, we able to go for our next investment, next opportunity, you know. So it's giving us a motivation to keep on add on the vehicle, because we can see the results. So that's the reasons. If when we start, actually I had about 12 to 13 units, but during the during this critical time, we managed to add more than 15 vehicles apart from this within 3 months time. So that's really achieved. I mean, normally, like if you see this industry, many even though agents or individuals, they many they going to sell, or you know, the surrender. But the travel give us the opportunity to increase our fleets and to, you know, to continue, and this is continue, and it's an opportunity for as a new business opportunity. So that's the reasons, like, you know, from 12 to 13 fleets to double up within 3 4 months, within actually 3 months time. Yeah.
One of them asked, would it be advisable to get a wildfire and rent it out on 80% of the time to cover repayment and maintenance? So, Mr. Aslam, has you have experience from your experience, you do own a Toyota Alphard, right? Could you share with us how much was the income generated and how it helped you cover your loans?
Okay, if you ask me, you're talking about our the Toyota Alphard from our side, right? Yes, actually, we can make about 10K. It depends completely. It depends on the your pricing and the way you understand the market. Even though, example, you have a latest model or whatever, like you feel that, I mean, you should sacrifice the pricing, because example, let's say if you put a higher price, then the chances of number of bookings per month you need to expect bit lower. But if you go for a reasonable price in the market, I believe from my experience, I able to occupy about 80% if the season is okay, because you know, we know no one can predict current situation. Suddenly, you know, the situations change. But if a good time, if you have a reasonable price, right? I can feel 80% the luxury vehicles, right? Like my confident level, yes, I can feel 80%, right? So my simple advice is go with whatever you have first and build your confidence, so that make you to go to your next investment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Susan, how many days is it to share on travel to cover the cost of the maintenance and loans for like new hosts or any organic hosts if they're on board?
Right. On this questions, I just have to take a step back to give you a overarching pictures, right? The people who come on the travel, they come with all sorts of different backgrounds. So there are people who see travel as an entrepreneurs channel, where people like Injek Aslam has been an entrepreneur category, in my opinion, because he actually understands our platform very well. And thank you to Injek Aslam as well, that he have full confidence on travel, and hence has been increasing his car fleet, sharing onto our platform. So on that note, we do have people who perceive us as entrepreneur channel, but we also have people like individual hosts whom have cars at home, sometimes 2 cars at home, that they would like to leverage on the cars that's sitting idle, to make a bit of an extra income to offset their monthly installment. So the people come onto our platform with different objective in that way. But just to give you a over pictures as well, that for instance, you talk about wildfires. So I'm taking an example. Let's say you have a 2018 wildfire, a standard model, and let's say the sum insured value is around 250,000 for the 2018 model. With that, say, you work with the daily rate that according to travel's pricing range that we are providing to you. Let's say you chose to go with 750 ringgit per day. So on that note, travel will take a 25% commissions if you're organic host in this case. If I'm taking that basis, if you do 8 days per month, you still can keep your car for 22 days. On that note, you probably can earn 4,500 ringgit per month. And if you do 10 days, you probably can earn 5,625 ringgit. So what that's translate to? So against everyone go with, say, decent HP loan at 3% per annum, and they say you're looking into 5 years loan. So if you do 10 days, you can actually make more than enough to cover your HP loan. At the same time, you can make a bit of extra income of around 17%. So if you do 8 days, that's where you try to about break even, where the income will be able to cover approximately 95% of your interest and the HP loan. So on that note, what we're trying to say is, all you need to do is to share your car when you're not in use by making this 8 days over a month, where you can still keep around 22 days. That income is more than enough to cover your HP loan by up to 95%. If you do anything more than that, it's a little extra income to you. You're not just having enough to cover your monthly installment, but you also can make a little bit of surplus to improve your financial status. So that's where we're talking about on this note. Travel from time to time runs a lot of campaign, simply because we understand that the community come to us is looking for financial relief, hoping that the cars, when they're sitting idle, can make a bit of income. People like Injek Aslam can actually take this as a business in a way. So on that note, what we're trying to say is we, from time to time, run campaign to motivate and also to incentivize the hosts who have been seeing us as a positive surplus to their financial status. So we do things like previously, I think back in August till end of last year, we run a what we call the financial aid to our hosts who use it as an initiative. We take this as an initiative to support the government effort to mitigate the Malaysian financial challenges right now, especially with the COVID coming into place. Lately, we're also running into what we call a high buy program. This is something that maybe we can share using a link later on. Is to encourage our hosts to accept the bookings from the booking request. So on that note, we incentivize people with 200 ringgit or 300 ringgit extra on top of what you're earning from the car sharing experience.
All right, that's nice. At least like people will actually accept the booking now when there's money coming in as well.
Yeah,
cool. All right. So the next question is, how do you operate a fleet and have a management team, or do the most work by the management team? So, Mr. Aslam, how did you manage the fleet efficiency?
Well, so basically, since I told you we have original background from the travel agent, so we already had a setup, right? But once coming to the manage in this current platform, yes, we set up a dedicated team to take care the cars in the terms of cleanliness, car wash, maintenance. So that's our first priority, because um, for that we set up a team, right? Not a big team actually. For me, for the current 30, it's about two team to just to maintain and take care, right? And in the terms of for the organic calls, I can tell like the person who manage one or two car, actually they can manage. It's not a big deal as long as you make your car is clean, neat, and before you pass, give to your next customer, make sure do your clean with, you know, the way you feel that you're going to use the car, and you present to your guests, right? So I feel it's not going to be a big deal, right? If you're going to love your car, then you're going to take care of your car, and the same thing you give to your guests. So I believe you don't need a team. But when you're going to work out into the commercial, yes, you need to have a proper setup. So example, we have our own base where to maintain and repair our car. They have a different team, and just do car wash. We have our own arrangements. So basically 70 to 80% work we doing under our one roof. That's how right now we manage, right? For the organic cost, my suggestion, my best advice is just do as what you are doing right now, how you take care of your car, and just give also to your guests as it is, so everything will be okay.
All right, that's a good night.
Yeah.
That's a good advice. How would an individual host thrive on travel? What do you think?
You're asking house host drive on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, you need to trust travel as your platform. That we are here to provide you the protections for you being the car host and listing your valuable cars onto the platform, which against Mr. Aslam has actually proven that he has increased his number of cars onto the travel platform. So for you to do that, to strive on that, is first of all, you need to make your car available. There are a few steps that you need to make sure that you follow. One is to make sure that the calendars make available is being reviewed, and you take the dates that your cars are available for people to book the cars. And secondly is you understand the procedure, how to become a host on platform, where if you have problem, you can always reach out to Travels sales consultants or Travels, what we call the lighthouse consultant, to understand, to have a one-to-one sessions with you. We can walk you through how you to become a good host and what are the attentions and the procedures you need to understand. And thirdly, that you need to do a right pricings. Again, this is somewhere that you can either look through the travel platform to understand how people have done it for the similar car types that you have. And also at the same time, you can still reach out to our travel Lighthouse agent to understand that what will be the optimum pricings that you're targeting with. And then from there, every time, it's a dynamic pricing things. If you think you want to make changes to your price, you can always reach out to our customer service for the price to be changed. And then fourthly is just to make sure that your car's in good conditions, and then communicate well with your guests for every booking request being made through to you. On travel platform, we actually allow for review by both host and guest as well. So on this note, guests can review you host, being a quality or good host, and then at the same time, hosts can also review our guests, whether they are the good guests or they are the in-quality guests. So on that note, once you're familiar with it, you'll be able to do it on your own, and then at the fingertips, anytime, any day, the request will come through to you, and you just accept the booking and wait for the actual day to happen.
So the next question asked is, Mr. Haslam, how many cars do you have now on travel?
Okay, right now we have about 30 cars.
30 cars, okay.
Under travel, yes, we have varieties cars from sedang to MPV to the budget to luxury. So we have the various model of the cars at this moment we travel. Yeah.
Right. The whole range. That's nice. Okay. Could you share with us how travel is different from other platforms?
Well, okay, I can give you few difference. Earlier also I explained
Mhm.
because we are more comfortable zone with travel because travel is protect the host. In that I'm talking the prospect. I mean from the as a host, right? In the terms because as I told you because number one the per day limitations. Travel give 200 kilometers, and for the additional the kilometers the I mean we are protected.
Mhm.
And second in the terms like to arrangements like as I told you like because the travel is giving the free delivery to customer, but still as a host we don't have much burden because the custodian team and the customer care team working for that particular things to deliver to our customers. So that's make us again it's a plus point for us to minimize our burden. And also like anything's happen issue, I have a personal experience, especially the travel operation team when the time we are facing some trouble, maybe some issues, they personally assist us, like in the terms like let's say the current renter is not returned the car on time, so they take the responsible as their car. So that's I have a real personal many experience the way the travel operation team be with us and coordinate with us and try to solve it. That's really wonderful.
All right. So the next question is, how do we ensure our cars are not being used for illegal activities? So, Susan, could you share with us how is Trevor's policy and how the accident handling team will take care if there is anything to happen?
Right. Okay. I already mentioned just now, but I will re-emphasize that because we are quite proud of that area. That beside the travel track, the GPS that we put in place, and also the insurance. And again, we have a very skilled ops team, operations team in the back end to look into any urgent case or emergency or accident cases. They will be mobilized to the ground sooner we can. So that note, beside that, we also have a very sophisticated, what we call a know your customer process. We call it KYC process, and it's a very important process to do in order to verify the identity of our customers before any booking requests or transactions being kickstarted. So we take the process seriously, and we would also want to continue to enhance the feature in combating so all those potential illegal transactions and allowing to enhance the protections to our car hosts who might otherwise be harmed by all these potential crimes. Another thing we looked at is also machine learning. What is this stand for is this very specialized subfield of artificial intelligence, where we have some holistic and comprehensive algorithms in place to learn and improve themselves by studying high volume of available data that make available to us. And the power of this machine learning actually benefits in a very wide range of applications. So including the development of the effective pricing, automation solutions eventually we want to go into. And also we can also predict some behavior interpretations of the user come on board. There's certain typical behavior that we can predict via the machine learning algorithm as well. And all this can be used to optimize our products offering eventually. And key thing is to enhance on the security performance of travel. All right.
Mr. Aslam, from your experience, how were the guests like on travel? Were they okay? How was your experience like?
Well, so far I believe we completed about more than 1,500 trips
Mm.
overall if we see for the last 3 months. It's very rare situation that we are facing in the terms if you highlight about illegal activity, because that's what I don't have such experience so far,
Mm.
even because we are pretty much confident because uh, number one, as Miss Susan explained, that you all do the background check and verify the users. And a second, most of the time we deliver the car by custodian to the guest, so there is the personal touch. right? So we are pretty much confident that the since we deliver to the customer and we have a relationship, and also basically we have what we call like to the monitor our vehicle, including the under the travel GPS, as well as we have our internal GPS. So in that term, so far we not face such a experience, but even though we had some miscommunication with the customer, the travel operation team is take the responsible and they do behalf of us. So I feel I don't have more comments on that. So
Okay.
I don't have more experience with travel for this particular question you asked.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope it will also not happen for future, because it's pretty much organized.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank So the next question is, how about the commissions and payouts like on travel? So Susan, could you share with us about the commission and payouts of travel?
Yeah. Well, on our platform, we actually take what we call the platform fees. All right, simply because we are providing the technology, we are providing all the security in place. So on that note, we actually charge a small platform fees on that. It comes with two categories of platform fees, namely 25% and 40%. 40% platform fee we charge is when you embark onto the travel show. You can learn more about that from our website, travel.my. And on the other point is, if you don't use our travel show, you are leveraging on your personal insurance, as in private motor insurance. This is where the platform fees will be priced at 25%. And in terms of payout, we truly empower our hosts to have their earning payout on time. So presently, we are doing fortnightly. So every fortnightly that transactions being made, you will have your payment received on every 1st and 15th of the month. If it's the 1st and 15th falls on the public holiday, you get the money on the day after the public holiday. But on that note, we're moving into a weekly payout. Hopefully by then that will improve the cash flow situations of our car hosts as well. So we are continuously improving ourselves in terms of creating more benefits and more win-win situations to our car host.
Aslam, how was your experience with the payouts and commissions received from travel? Was it all good?
Yes. Normally, what I mean, per month we receive 2 times, as in the contract says. So for us, from that part is because it's easy to track. If I mean, because the informations clearly mentioned completed job and pending job, and after the travel transfer the payment, where we will get updates. And I believe that part per month, 2 times payment receipt is quite good for even for organic horse, as well for the commercial horse. That's make more interesting to work with travel. So it's pretty much we are satisfied on with that payment policies, and also the reasonable commission range. The reason is, I believe sometimes travel give a promo code more than they offer for a commission. So so I believe it's pretty much reasonable, even for organic as well for the commercial. Yeah.
All right, that's great to hear. As travel is also known by foreigners here in Malaysia, Susan, could you share with us how are the terms and conditions like for foreigners to join travel and how they can list their cars on our platform?
We will go through the standard terms of service that highlighted in Travel's website, terms of conditions page. The foreigners, whether you are being a user or in terms of guest or host, as long as you have sets of legitimate documents to prove to us that you have the valid passport and you have the valid driving license, and also the valid what we call the international driving permit. And all these will have to go through the process of KYC that I mentioned just now, and the machine learning, and you'll be qualified to become our users.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, Susan, from your perspective and travels, how much capital can a host invest?
I would say that not coming from a number perspective, as I highlighted, a lot of people come to travel with different objectives. All right, so people who are just trying to earn some decent income to offset some of the HP loan installment. So what they do is with the current cars that they have, or maybe husband and wife have two cars, and over the weekend you tend to use one car. The leftover idle cars is somewhere you can share it out for the weekend, and that's where you make a bit of extra, and that will improve your financial conditions a little bit. And also we have people, investor like Mr. Aslam, where he is very good. He sees this as a business opportunity, and he had been experienced on it, and he is making a good success on that. So this is where people will probably need to invest some capital to purchase the car and have the car listing onto a travel platform. So on that note, the capital issues or questions is up to individual, depending on your need and depending on your appetite for that return.
So, Mr. Aslam, as you've mentioned, you've listed 30 cars on Travel, right? So, which car would you say has the most profitable and or on demand much more as the other cars?
Okay, the question have two. One is most demand and most profitable,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, so once it's coming to the most demand, I believe like sedan and MPV, I believe widely the customers are looking, right? And if you want to go for more profitable, yes, you need to go for bigger MPV like Alphard, Starrex, or Mercedes. Like I mean, because you able to get the good return, right? But okay, the question, like what type of the cars, I believe uh on demand is more to sedan and MPV. Let's say you have Asia or you have Alza, you have Beza. Okay, you still there's a demand. Those are the vehicles is more high demand, right? And but I'm not say it's not profitable. You able to go about if you go for at least about 20 days above, right? Easily you can, if your car is available and it's available to book, instant booking, right? I can give assurance you can fill 80%. That means about 20 days. So that's make about 1.5 to 2,000 above if you have the sedan or MPV, right? But once you have if you are going to invest for a bigger vehicle like Starrex and Alphard, Wellfire, or whatever you name it, Mercedes, right? That going to make a more profitable, So even though you're going to rent it for 5 to 10 days, you were able to cover your, the loan as well. You were able to get additional income, right? So I hope the answer is there based on profitable and on demand. Yeah.
So, Susan, from Travel's platform, what kind of cars were receiving more bookings and demanded by the guests?
Put it this way, on the platform itself, on the travel platform itself, we have a wide range of vehicles being listing onto the platform. All right, it can range from as small as a Myvi, all the way, or Axia, all the way to at one point we even have a Rolls Royce on our platform. So with the positionings that user or guests can come to our platform to source for cars to cater to their needs. That needs can be their, wedding, or that can be a proposal to the girlfriend, or can be, using it for their business travel when they're coming to a different cities. So also some needs that they envisage. You can actually find the suitable cars from travel. All right. So on that note, I have to say that on demand issues, literally every single segments of cars or every single types of vehicle models, they do have their own demand. So for the host to looking into how to make themselves more profitable, first of all, you need to be a bit more active in making yourself available for booking. And then you have to be a bit more active as well in accepting the bookings, simply because travel also practice what we call the Superhost algorithm. So the more you have been sharing out your cars and also receiving good feedback or review, and also have been as a good host, that's where you get yourself a good scoring system. So with this good scoring system, you get yourself being displayed at the top of the display list, and also you get yourself qualified into what we call the Superhost car collections card. So people will see you with a higher exposure, people see you with more opportunities, and hence you're being booked, and higher chance of being booked in this case. So, and on the note that you really want to think that, look, I only have this amount of money that I want to invest. I want to know which car model will be the most optimum or most high chance of me making decent profit. This is somewhere you can visit our lighthouse in Jalan Maruf, Bangsa, and make a booking with our team. We can advise you on that.
So Susan, could you please tell us like what are the criteria of the Superhost and what's like the benefits from it?
The very apparent benefits is being a Superhost. You will have your chance being featured in not just at the front page of our listing display, but you also will be selected into what we call the Superhost collections card. So on that two notes, you will being viewed by or being searched and viewed by the guests a lot more. The chances of being higher in that case. At the same time, for you to become a Superhost, you need to have at least 75% of what we call the fulfillment rate. What it means is if you have 10 booking requests made to you over a month, you need to accept at least 7.5 bookings in this case in order to get yourself into that. And meanwhile, you also need to be a good host with good review that no less than 4 stars in this case. On that note, we will screenshot, as in we will finalize you to become our Superhost, and Superhost list get changed once every 2 weeks. So on that note, you will be being listed onto our Superhost collection card and also being seen more.
So Mr. Aslam, from your experience, could you share with us how many times did you share your car to be a Superhost, and how did you maintain the title of Superhost, and what was the benefit you received from it?
Well, okay, I'll give a very simple answer. Like to become to more active, and let's say to become a Superhost, first things you need to do is you should have your vehicle to be instant confirmation. So that's what we practice. So 100% all the vehicles are instant confirmation, where our customers can comfortably can book immediately and get the confirmation. Right? That's make one step ahead, right? For our this journey, and also and make sure to available our cars all the time. It's not to be upon request. So we manage to 100% to make our cars to be available on a travel. So there is no anything we need to accept our booking, right? Except our client booking, everything is instant. And the third is most important is to take care of our customer, because our main concern is to keep the fresh and clean car with a nice fragrance, and the cleanliness is very important. Even this current situation to fogging our cars, we do our regular fogging cars, so we make sure to give the best experience to our customer, where we we will receive a return as a best good review. So I believe instant confirmation, availability, and the review, that's the secret to make a Superhost. So I believe these three things, if you follow, anyone can be a Superhost.
So Mr. Aslam, do you mind sharing how and what do you do to set your pricing for each of your car?
Well, once we're going to work about the pricing, we are very much flexible. First, our team, we see the current situation, like current demand. So example, there can be a high season, low season, even this current situation. I mean, since the last 2 weeks, I mean, no interstate travel. But the good news, 90% all our cars since last 14 days on the road. So we managed to do it because we understand the current, we should understand the current situation, and we should, there is a situation come, we just need to surrender. Example, as I told you, still there are still people looking to rent a car. Sometimes we think, I mean, there is a current situation, no one is required, but that's the way we think. But with our experience, I feel last 2 weeks we are almost 90% full. So we need to see the current situation and the time and the seasons. I believe this all together, you should have kind of your own experience to to set your price, and don't be greedy. I'm sorry for that word. Yeah, so that's make. I mean, you can make it the to available your car, and to make it your car busy all the time.
I believe this one has to come from the experience as well. I mean, given the fact that travel will give you a range of price guidelines, that you work within the range of guidelines, but at the same time, you will also be perhaps assessing the supply demand during some long weekend, festive seasons. You know that during this period that you tend to get higher demand, and you only have one car to share. This is where you can play a little bit with the pricings by reaching out to our CS to have the price change via our end. So attractive price, I would say that is very subjective, and it's very seasonal as well. So people like Mr. Aslam, he's very experienced. So he from his experience with this, he knows when would be the good time to increase the price a little bit, to have him making a bit more income, simply because the demand is there. But when it's the off-peak time, perhaps you want to look into lowering your price just to make yourself being booked more often in terms of a pricing strategy in this case.
All right. Okay, thank you, Susan, for that. Okay, so the last question is pretty interesting. Can I pool my family's and friends' car and host them on their behalf? Can I take a percentage fee as a managing fee from that? So Susan, do you mind like sharing or explaining what that is? That even okay?
Two parts to it, right? In the eye of travel, if the car's ownerships are not owned by you, but understanding that you are helping your friends and family, you set up your own asset management. It can be a new industry in Malaysia that you are coming in to become an asset manager to help your friends and family to manage the cars that they have not being used and sitting idles. So on that first one, true in the eye of travel, you need to have a valid what do we call the authorization letter from the host, from the owners who own a car. So the owners need to give you that signed and approved authorizations letter, and that needs to make available to travel. So we know that you have attained that, and you can legally, in a way, being authorized to manage the cars. So that's in the eyes of travel. And then when it comes to your individual, because it's you being entrepreneur now, you're leveraging on travel and creating yourself a new industry, which is asset management or fleet management for your friends and family. That one will leave it to you how you want to charge them. It's empower you to how you want to charge your friends and families.
All right. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. All right, so that was the last question. All right, thank you so much, Susan and Mr. Aslam, for sharing about travel, the benefits. It's definitely a great platform and a great way to earn a passive income. So I'm sure everyone has taken something to think about from this. So it's definitely a great way to start a passive income, and I'm sure travel ensures to serve its community as well. So that will be all for today. If there's anything, you guys can just drop your questions here in the comments, and we will get back to you the soonest. So thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead. Stay safe, everyone.